Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Waffles RC. As you saw from the thumbnail that you just clicked on, we are upgrading the Semi and upgrading the Zacklift as well. Semi's only getting one thing, the Zacklift is getting many things. So let's get this thing over here. Time for my back to hurt. So if anybody's wondering about the size of this thing or the scale of it, that's an 8-foot workbench and I'm 6'2". So here is how big this thing actually is. All right, get to work. Okay, so first things first, let's get the boxes off. So what we will be doing today to start off will be changing these servos out. They did work and they worked decently well, but when I was lifting the other tow truck, they weren't really able to hold the weight very much. So let's just quickly, for you, replace all these servos. Oh, and by the way, it's almost 80 degrees outside in February.
This is why I hate people in California. If they got snow, it'd be like a couple minutes and it's gone. Yeah. I mean, it's warming up, don't get me wrong. It's not minus 20 anymore. But ugh.
Now that I've made everybody else in the rest of the country very upset, let's get down to business. So I got the same servos as the winches. There you go. Got them from Go Builda. I will put a link down in the description for these. These, once again, are dual mode. So if you buy the programmer, which I'll also put a link to down in the description, you can change whether this is a continuous or just a standard servo. I have 5 of them here. 4 are just for this truck, obviously. The last one will be for the Impala, which I have been corrected. A few people in the comments have said that's not a 59. Well, they are correct. And the seller who listed it and me who said it in the last video, the wagon is not a 59. It is a 61. So there, I have corrected my error. Sometimes you're just wrong, or multiple people are wrong. I actually have to correct myself even further now because it's not just a 1961 Chevy Impala station wagon. It is based off of a very specific build, as you see here. Who cares? So I will replace all of these super cheap ones with these ones, which also means now I have 4 steering servos. Projects. Another fun thing that I have to admit, when you order from Go Builda, every time I've ordered from them, this comes in the package. So it doesn't matter how big the order or how small the order, you always get candy. So thank you, Tom, over at Go Builda. They include candy every time you order something. So if that's not an incentive to go buy some stuff from them, I don't know what is. But now we have lunch. Mrs. Waffles will love that fact. Let me swap out some servos and we'll be right back. almost had a little bit of a panic moment. I forgot that the old servos, that I had taken them apart to reverse them because they want to travel the same direction. I haven't done that to these, and I didn't know if you could because these are programmable. So I don't know if you can reverse the motor wires and the potentiometer wires because of the whole, being able to program them thing. But luckily, I have a habit of not throwing stuff away. And I doubt anybody remembers because because very few people actually watched the video. I tried these servo reversers and they did not work. Well, guess what? With the Go Build a servos, they do. And I'm sure that these work when you're just trying to do just a single servo, but I'm trying to run 4 on one channel. That could have been something to do with it, but I am not an expert on servos. Now I will go through the fun of bolting these all in, getting the legs back on. All right, I have been fighting this longer than I care to admit, but to say the least, I've been fighting it for a while. Let me show you the issue. So as you see here, this leg, or the rear outriggers, are sitting there nice and perfect, not moving at all. And then we have this guy who's just ready to party. And it's the same thing when it's down, and both fronts do it. It's almost as if my Amazon very cheap servo reversers that I got out of my garbage can aren't very good. But Go Build a has one, so I'll order that. Let's move on to the next part so that I don't keep getting upset at this. Yeah, now it's not right. No, it still wants to party. So the next thing that I want to do is replace that. So get those out of the way. And nope, don't turn it off because I need to get to these bolts underneath it. Well, luckily, I can do so. Now I can turn it off. So I'm just going to take this light bar off and I'll show you the light bar that I got. So it took a minute, but I did get it on. So this is the My Trick RC. I don't feel like reading it all out loud, so if you want one, there's the exact information for this particular light. So we turn it on and wham bam. Got lights on the front and lights on the back. And yes, I'll do a night shot so that this actually looks cool. But we have to replace this one first. So let me turn all this off. Oh yeah, now the lights turn on. I've been trying to get those white lights on for quite a while, and now they finally turned on. Electronics are confusing. Oh, okay, so I finally just realized when you come to a stop, the utility lights turn on. But as soon as you move, they turn off again. I mounted it this way because they weren't working. But now they do work. I'm going to turn this around and mount the other one on here. Then we'll have lots of lights. If you choose to go with the My Trick RC lights, there is a specific way that they get programmed. As you can see, they are just flashing, flashing, flashing. And I'll speed this up in the edit. But when you leave it alone for a minute, it has directional arrows, plus the cab lights, or spotlights, or work lights, or whatever you want to call them. But to change that, you take the button, which is on the bottom, you hold it for about a second, let go. So now it just flashed twice. Leave it alone again. And now it flashes the other direction and the work lights come on. So when you hold the button for about a second, let go, it flashes once. That means the directional arrow is going to go to, I guess, if you have it facing backwards, it's going to go to the driver's side. You hold it again, it flashes twice, it goes to the passenger side. And every time you move it, everything turns off. Now if you hold it again, flashes 3 times, let it do its thing. Wish it wouldn't take this long. Now it stays on whatever flash pattern you have it on, and the work lights come on. Now that part confused me, because I was wondering why the work lights wouldn't come on. It's because you have to leave it alone. Now you guys can't see me at all. So you have to leave it sitting and then the work lights will come on. Kind of a cool feature. I wish I could just keep them on all the time, but I didn't program it, so be it. I have the one on the rotator. Now let's get this one on the cab. And I guess since there's a lot of new people here, this is how I work on the Semi. I have the cab on a hinge. Now normally, yes, just the hood on a real Semi is hinged, but you know what? Creative license allows it so that I can do the whole cab. And the motor and transmission is under here. The transfer cases, multiple, are under here. Right now, we are here to drill holes in my nice, pretty truck. Looks like that light bar has been on here for a little while. So My Trick RC does give you a template to be able to cut it out. You cut out the template out of the instruction sheet, lay it on where you want it to go, and that's how you can install it. Now I need to figure out which side that work light was on, because I forgot already. And yes, as you can see, we're using a tape measure. It's called our eyeballs. Sometimes it's the best tape measure you can use. Probably put this where it will block the holes that I have already drilled. See, that's how you cover up your sins. Just cover up the holes, drill over them, or mount something over the holes. That's what I mean. Yeah, I'm gonna go with something like that. My favorite RC tool. Having issues with that camera right now, so I don't know how much of that you saw, but now we're drilling a rather large hole. Now, do a little bit of body work. Yep. Perfectly dented. But now, we can put our light in. Fancy. So the My Trick RC kit does come... Oh, where is it? It does come with some little spacers and some hardware. It's not quite substantial enough for my particular application, so I shall use my own. Not that I'm overly concerned about aesthetics, but this is kind of my favorite RC vehicle, so I want it to look good. Okay, so what My Trick RC also does is they include an adapter, and if you want, you can go straight to a 9-volt battery and just run the light off of that. I shall not be doing that. I will be running it off of the truck. So the next upgrade that I want to make on this is the lights. All the lights and all the functions all run off of this one BEC. Well, I'm having backfeed issues. So what the plan is to run a second battery just for the lights. That way there won't be any backfeed issues. This light, the box lights, the brake lights, all the lights will run completely separate from the BEC battery. I also really want to clean up all the wiring, but until I get the better servo reversers, I can't really clean it up as much as I want to. I guess I can do some, but let me rerun these wires, the main power wires for all the lights, and then I can start cleaning up some of the wires. I'll just make sure that these reversers are accessible. Hi. So as you can tell by the attire, it is the next evening. I've had some struggles with this thing. Let's quickly, right across here, start our list of what went wrong last night and how I struggled with it. First and foremost, I think, because I can't remember because I got so stressed out, the outriggers that are on the servo's reversers are going a little crazy, so they have a mind of their own and just sit there and wiggle. Somehow through all of this, the brake lights quit working and I super glued them onto the frame. I don't think I've even shown these yet, but I made my little boxes, which I'm going to make different lids that are a little bit skinnier. These are they just stick out a bit too much. I cut the holes and I messed up the paint. I was able to revive it, thankfully, but that was very stressful as well. Then I tried rewiring the lights so that all the lights would go onto the second battery just by itself. And that's when I discovered the brake lights quit working, the side lights quit working, the light bar had a mind of its own and turned on whenever it felt like it, all to discover that the battery I hooked up was dead. So there was a lot of things that went wrong, which were mostly my fault. But at the end of the day, it is mostly working. I don't have any money to get the new servo reversers from GoBuilda, but that's on the list. So to say the least, the next couple of videos, we're going to be jumping from project to project to project. Like it's going to go all over the place. But it's getting dark outside, which means all these lights are going to look really cool. So let me put like 6 batteries in this truck. I'm kidding, it's 3. But I'll put 3 batteries in this thing, turn it all on, and take it for a little spin. All right, now the fun part. I gotta pick this thing up. Yep, just as light as I remember. Not gonna lie, quite proud of myself for that. Well, it's definitely not like you're not gonna see it coming. We got work lights too. And admittedly, those rear brake lights are incredibly bright, but there's not a lot I can do about that. These work lights I wish were brighter. They look halfway decent on camera, but they do not light up anything. I'm very happy with this. Now, this is going to be at the Las Vegas Towman Show, April 22nd to the 24th. So I have some maintenance issues to take care of before I go and drive through another casino. Sounds like the transmission needs to be greased up. The whole truck needs to be gone through, basically. Need to grease everything up, just double check everything, make sure it all works. Because it's a long drive through the casino, believe it or not. Casinos are quite large. If you'd like to help support anything that's built on this channel, it'd be greatly appreciated if you go to the link at the bottom of the screen there. It's also linked in the description below. Waffles RC merch. If you like hats, shirts, beanies, coffee mugs, there are some stickers. They're not that great though. I need to fix that for you guys. But all of that does go to building this thing. Well, building all of these. But right now, this thing, because we got some touch-up work to do. So, until then, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for subscribing. We will see you next week when we build something. I have no idea. Alright, I don't know where the video left off last, but a lot of things have happened in personal life and in RC life. But I want to finish this video off for you guys, so let me show you what has happened in the last week or more since I filmed anything. So as you can see, the semi has been taken apart quite a bit. That is because I started tracing noises on this thing to try and quiet it down and get it ready for going to Vegas. Don't know how well you can see, but see how that rod in this gear is rounded quite nicely. And you see how that side is pointy. It wore itself out pretty bad. The whole transmission is full of gear dust and metal dust, so basically the transmission gave up on the truck. Well, it didn't give up, it was still working, but it was just, this gear was flopping around in there. But it's a good opportunity for the new people to see exactly what powers and drives this entire truck. So of course this may be some of my issue with burning through transmissions, because obviously I have a new transmission in here. This is the third transmission I have put in this truck. I know, shocking. Who would have ever guessed that crawler transmissions for 10 scale trucks are not designed to move or pull about 200 pounds on a pretty regular basis? I know, it's shocking to me too. So the way that I solved it was I put another crawler transmission in it, and it's a low center of gravity, very lightweight as it likes to claim. The motor that drives this is the Hobbywing Fusion 8 quick run 2-in-1 2300 kV. This has been a great motor. The motor has not had a single issue with this entire truck. All the other stuff sort of has. But while the sleeper is off, it gives you a chance to see the whole drivetrain. So the way I have this truck set up is output shaft comes from the transmission to transfer case number 1. Then it goes from here to transfer case number 2. From transfer case number 2 is output shaft for the first rear axle, which goes all the way back here through a carrier bearing down to the first rear axle. That axle is not powered. It is a tag axle. It's there because it looks good. Also on that front transfer case is the front drive shaft going to the front axle. Back to the first transfer case, or second, or I'm confused. The output shaft on this one goes all the way back to the first carrier bearing, then the second carrier bearing, down to the rearmost axle. Now I know that that seems overly complicated, and you're right, it is. But the main reason why I did it that way is because I didn't want to try and find a pass-through axle, and this is a 10 scale-ish semi, and I wanted really wide axles. So the axles that are on this are knockoff rift axles, so they're very wide and open differentials. Did that on purpose because this tow truck is 6-wheel drive, but is locked on all the axles. Once you get a good amount of weight on that truck, those steer wheels do absolutely nothing at all. They just turn, and that's with locked diffs, and that's one of the downfalls of that particular truck, which is why I went with open diffs for this truck, and it has performed perfectly ever since. Of course, I say perfectly ever since, and I've gone through 3 transmissions, but I've learned my lesson. I have this transmission in here. I also have another one that's coming today. So if this one goes out, I have another. Also in the sleeper is where the battery sits. It used to be a dual motor truck. It is no longer anymore because I kept blowing motors because electrical is hard. But I have space for one battery and space for a second battery. The sound kit for it is also inside there, thus all the wiring. Also, these transfer cases are the quite cheap ones. I think you can get them for like $10 or $15. These have been in the truck since I built everything. When I took everything apart to try and find the noise, I found that I never put grease in either one of these transfer cases. So the very cheap transfer cases with no grease have lasted a year and a half moving all this weight. So don't knock them until you try them. That's all I got to say about that. The Zacklift is mostly done. I still have some 3D printed stuff that I got to fix, and I still need to get parts for the outriggers, so that's going to take a little bit more time. But that is an update of what's going on, essentially. I appreciate every message that everybody has sent about me losing my dog. That's why I love this community, is because everybody is just so caring and so helpful throughout anything in any facet of life, whether it's RC or not RC. So thank you all very much for watching. Thank you all very much for subscribing, and thank you all from me and Mrs. Waffles for all the kind messages that everybody has sent. So we will see you next weekend. I don't know what we're gonna do, but we're gonna figure something out, because the show must go on, as they used to say. So thank you all, and we will see you next week.